Are you suffering from anxiety? Well, first things first, put your phone down, take a deep breath in, and exhale slowly. Now let's talk about anxiety. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Andoer Monopod. I'm an independent music artist from the UK. Today I'm going to walk you through 10 tips on how you can conquer anxiety. And because everyone has to do this, I have to disclose that I'm not a doctor and I'm not a medical professional, but I do have first-hand experience with mental health. Whenever I go on YouTube to find tips about anxiety or help in general, most of the advice given is quite generic. It's kind of like the same stuff repeated over and over, and I wanted to give you guys something a bit different. Another thing that quite annoys me is that so many people are posting online about mental health awareness, but a lot of these people haven't even experienced mental health issues, and if you can't relate, then personally, I believe that you can try and give advice, but you're not going to know fully what that person is going through. So before I kick this off with all of my tips and tricks and the things that have worked for me, I want to just give you a little bit of a backstory so that you can understand that I know how you feel. So anyone who's followed me for a while knows that I'm no stranger to depression. I feel like if people weren't going through anxiety and depression before, they've definitely experienced some kind of anxiety during the situation that's happened in 2020 and just the way that the world is kind of going at the moment. So a lot of people say that anxiety and depression go hand in hand. In previous years, for me personally, it was predominantly depression that was affecting me. But I recently had a situation happen where I felt like my heart was beating so fast. It was weird because it was like I had every reason to be happy. You know, my life has become a lot better since I've been doing YouTube. I feel like I'm following my passion. But obviously something was plaguing me. I tried all sorts of old techniques that I'd used to try and calm myself down, but within my body I just knew that there was something not right. All my adrenaline glands were just uncontrollable, and I posted something on Instagram about mental health, and then a few hours later I posted and I said, I'm having to switch social media off for the next 2 days. I need to just get myself together. I need to switch off everything that is all the noise. I need to just switch it off and get back in tune with myself and find a bit of zen. This experience pushed me to really prioritise my mental health above everything else. I'm one of those people that is just like a workaholic. I was so hyper-focused on my YouTube. I was so focused on making sure that I replied to everyone, making sure that all of my friends were okay, even though I couldn't really even be there for myself. And it took a lot of self-discipline to drastically change all of these habits that were making me anxious. And now, obviously, I feel so much better. I know where the trigger points are, and without further ado, I want to get into these tips. I guarantee you will find something in here that you haven't heard of before. Okay, so tip number 1 is, if you have the money, buy a acupuncture mat. It is so relaxing, it's quite weird. So if you are a fan or you know of acupuncture or massage, for the small investment of £30, something around £30, 35 maybe, I'll put the link in the description. You can get this mat. And what it has is lots and lots of these tiny little spikes. So what you do is you put the mat on the floor and you lie on it. I know that I sound crazy saying this. This is not going to be for everybody, but for me, that little sharp sensation kind of just does something to just release endorphins. It just makes me so relaxed. This part is for the back. This part is for the back of the head or the neck. When I bought this mat, I was so excited. As you guys know, I get excited about a lot of things. This was worth every penny. And it's not sponsored, by the way. just so you know. The code that I put down in the description will be an affiliate link, but I get 1% commission if you click on the link, so I'm not really getting much money for that. I'm genuinely just promoting this because it is like, it's amazing. Also, the one that I bought comes with these 2 spiky balls and they're used for massage. Now, I'm telling you, I've tried every technique of trying to massage the knots out of my back. I've got like a massage ball that you get someone else to kind of go on your back with, or you can lie on it. I've got a foam roller, which has got very thick spikes. When I get anxious, the first thing that happens is my upper back gets really, really tense. It's really painful, it's really annoying, and then the bodily pain affects my mental state, then it makes me really angry, and then it just keeps going on in a cycle. But I remember I used to go for sports massages all the time, but I just can't fund it anymore. But every time I'd had a sports massage and I walked out to my car, I just felt so relaxed and so like I was on like a whole new level. I loved going for sports massages. However, if you're on a budget and you want to make an investment, these are probably the best thing that you can get that is not a real human. What I like to do is I like to place them on the ground and then lie on them, get that part where it's really, really, you know, knotted up, and just lay there and put the pressure on, and you'll find that slowly you can actually feel the knot just crumbling. It's amazing. Anyway, so my next tip is cut out caffeine, sugar, and any kind of stimulant. I've quit sugar for many, many reasons, and I understand how hard it is to actually quit. Sugar is about as addictive as cocaine, and I know that that sounds like a crazy statement, but so many people agree with this statement. The only difference is sugar is legal. That's the only difference, and it's not that expensive. So you can remain addicted to sugar your whole life, and you probably won't even notice just how much of a bad effect it's having on you, because with a sugar addiction you are able to just keep consuming as much sugar as possible, and unless you do the research you're not going to know what kind of effect it's having on your body, your mind, and just your well-being in general. Sugar does something to your body. It spikes your insulin and then it plummets, and then you have more sugar and then it spikes and then it plummets, and you go like that all day long. It's really not good for your body, but it is a whole nother video to talk about this subject, so I'm not going to ramble on about it too much. Just know that I have been addicted to sugar, I've been addicted to caffeine, I've went through the process of eliminating it from my diet, and it's not as scary as you think. It all depends on what your tolerance is and how much you've been consuming all of your life. You may have to do it in stages. If you have like a serious caffeine or sugar addiction, definitely wean yourself off. Or if you prefer and you think it's easier to do so, sometimes it is best to just go cold turkey and deal with it for a few days. You can expect cravings, potential mood swings that will level out. You can also expect maybe to have a headache or two. But the best thing that I can recommend is to just decide to quit when you know that you've got an easy few days ahead, or even better, when you know that you're going to be doing something that you enjoy so it can distract you. Okay, my next tip is really, really important. Delete these apps. I'm not even going to say the words because the situation with YouTube and its algorithms is a little bit strange, and it's making it so that YouTubers can't talk about so many things. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would be unhappy if I recommended to do this, but I am serious here. These apps are making you depressed. I downloaded these apps when this situation first started happening, and I used to get a notification every few hours, if not every hour. It was the first thing that I saw when I woke up, and it was the last thing I saw before I went to bed. And I was an absolute mess. My mind was just filled with so much negativity and so much bombardment of terror, fear. You know, these apps are supposed to kind of keep you informed and stuff, but there's being informed and then there's just flat out fear mongering. I know that in the first ever talking video that I posted on here, I've recommended to download these apps. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but my opinion has changed so much since then, and we all learn, we adapt, and we change. So I'm now recommending to do the complete opposite. When I had my kind of anxiety attack a few weeks ago, I was sat upstairs and I just desperately wanted to start feeling better, and one of the first things I did was get rid of these apps. And I tell you what, I feel great. Yeah, I know the law is changing a lot lately. Every few weeks we've got updates. I don't know which country you're in, but if you're from the UK, every 3 weeks we get a new update on what the law is and what we're allowed to do. That's all I want to know. Am I allowed to see my friends yet? Am I allowed to see my family? Am I allowed to walk out of the front door? I do not want to be consuming fear and negativity on a daily basis. I just want to know the big updates. That's it. Number 4, which is kind of similar to the previous one. Find a way to switch your phone off for an evening. It's a challenge, isn't it? For some of us, our phone is like our right hand. We can't go anywhere without it. And I know that there's so many reasons why you can't turn your phone off. I get that. You know, with what I do, I post YouTube content, I need to keep my social media going. So obviously, my dreams of throwing my phone down the toilet are not going to be achieved just yet. I do hope that one day I can just live in a forest, in a house made of like wood or something, with a bunch of new age people doing like meditations, and I just want to be like a total hippie when I'm older. But for now, the YouTube grind is real. So I've found a happy medium, and this is what I did. I switched off my phone for an evening. I let everyone know so that no one was worried about me, and that people knew that if they couldn't get through to me, that was why. Having just one night without your phone does a world of good for you, so I highly recommend it. Next thing that I do is, if I am working out, meditating, filming YouTube videos, or doing anything where I need to focus, I literally switch my phone on airplane mode or do not disturb, or both, because sometimes my phone does weird things, and that way I know that no one is going to disturb me with any like drama. I'm not going to get a phone call that I'm really tempted to answer. It's totally fine afterwards to just turn around and be like, hey, sorry, my phone was on airplane mode. People also respect your time a hell of a lot more if they know that you're not available all the time. It's a hard truth, but the way that this relates to anxiety is that your phone is saturating your brain with so much dopamine and so much information. It takes you completely out of that meditative state. Oh my god, I said it. Yes. Also, the blue light that comes off your phone affects your sleep, affects your melatonin, but I've already discussed this in previous videos, so let's move on. Number 5, positive self-talk. I used to find it really strange when people said to me, oh, don't you talk to yourself? I talk to myself all the time. I felt like I was missing out on something, like, I don't do that, because that's weird. Why would you talk to yourself? Like, why would you talk in the mirror to yourself when you could just think to yourself? But there's a couple of times where it's come in really handy for me, and I don't know whether this could be classed as some form of witchcraft. But sometimes if you say something so many times, it does something magical. And I'm not just talking about positive affirmations. I'll give you a little story, shall I? Years ago, my ex did something that was absolutely unforgivable. And the feelings that I had towards him kind of stopped me from making rational decisions. One night, he did something where it was just the final straw. So I came back home, I went upstairs, and I started saying to myself, I don't care about him anymore. 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 I don't care about him. I don't care about him. I don't care about him. I did this for about 5 minutes. If anyone had have seen me, they literally would have thought, she is crazy. And they would be right. But you know what? It worked. I spoke these words into the universe. I spoke these words into existence. And a way to apply this to anything is, it's usually, trust your intuition, right? Your intuition will tell you what the sentence is that's going to release you from this feeling. And I'm not talking about people who turn around to themselves and they're like, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job. Bullshit. You don't love your job. Just leave. I mean, there's affirmations and then there's affirmations and then there's just delusion, you know? What I'm talking about is something that doesn't deny your truth. So say, for example, you're experiencing anxiety. Go into the mirror, look straight at yourself and say, I am calm. I am like a waterfall. I am serene. I love who I am, and mean it, right? Mean it when you say it. Don't be thinking thoughts like, oh, you're wrong, no, you hate yourself. No, get rid of that. Words are more powerful than people think. A lot of people experience depression and anxiety and they attach it as part of their personality. That is a very dangerous place to be in. While I'm all for acceptance of who you are, I also believe that you can change through the power of your mind. So let's get on to the next one. Number 6, ground yourself. When I say ground yourself, I'm literally saying go outside barefoot and walk on the grass. There is something so magical about the earth. It is a very well-known technique to just get your feet on the ground and to get back in touch with nature. There's not much more I can say about this. It's pretty self-explanatory, but even just getting out in nature in general is great, but walking barefoot will do something really, really magical to you. The earth is your friend. Let's move over to the next one. Okay, number 7 is gonna be super generic, but very important, so I'm gonna cram all of the generic points into one. Meditation, exercise, and diet. These 3 factors are absolutely paramount to your mental health. I find it ironic that the same companies that are saying talk about mental health are also encouraging people to consume endless amounts of their marketing and bright colours and flashing lights and things that take you out of that meditative state, and also encourage people to eat a very, very unhealthy diet. It's like the media is pushing us one way and then it's pushing us the other way. And it's like, if you were to live the way that society kind of encourages you to do so, I'd be very surprised if you weren't depressed, because it's completely in the opposite direction to how we're supposed to live naturally. The way that I look after my health, a lot of people kind of judge me and think that I'm some kind of extremist, and they're like, oh my god, she's a health freak. Oh my gosh, she does all this like meditation and she's like so totally weird. Oh my gosh, she goes to the gym like every single day. No, I don't. I don't do that. To me, these things should be just a part of normal life. And I'm telling you now, I do not feel at all like I am watching what I eat, pushing myself to the point where I want to cry in the gym, or doing endless hours of mantras and praying to the gods. It's really not like that. Habits are something that you develop and you get used to. In order to change a habit, you're gonna have to go through a little bit of uncomfortable change, but that's all it is. It's just a changeover period. If you're a person that never exercises and you suddenly start going to the gym 6 days a week, I mean, you can't go to the gym at the moment, but you know what I'm saying. If you suddenly go full on into like a mental exercise regime, you are gonna be pushed. You're probably not gonna enjoy it and you're probably not gonna stick to it. Just ease into it. If you look at these things like a lifestyle, then it just becomes normality for you. I always talk to people about weightlifting because that's the type of exercise that I love. Weightlifting has done so much for me. I feel like I am a person that is full of passion and full of drive, and I have a lot of erratic energy that I need to direct somewhere. And for me, there's no better way to direct it than to lift some heavy weights. Get your gurn face on, rip those muscles in half. And when I was experiencing anxiety and I was able to direct it into weightlifting, it really, really relieved me of that kind of feeling, you know. Okay, so my next tip is make sure that your morning regime is peaceful. There's been so many times where I haven't had a morning regime and it's kind of just been all over the place. I've turned my phone off airplane mode immediately, and then the first thing I do is like scroll on Instagram. Then, you know, someone might phone me. This doesn't happen often. Usually 9 times out of 10 I have got a good morning regime worked out, but there has been times where I haven't, and in those times where I haven't, my days have just been chaotic. If you guys want a morning regime, let me know in the comments below. I have my idealistic morning routine, and then I have my realistic morning routine. No matter what kind of things you want to get done in the morning, make a set of simple rules for yourself that will set your day up right. Number 1, keep your phone on aeroplane mode for the first hour at least. That way you're eliminating most of the things that are going to put you in a bad mood, aka texts, calls, Instagram. All of these things are also very distracting. When you wake up, you're still kind of not in reality, you're still kind of in dream world. You need that time to kind of ease into the day. The last thing that you want is bombardment from your phone. I always have a glass of lemon and lime water. Once I've had that, I have a cup of tea because I love tea. If you live with people, just kind of put yourself in a different room and just let yourself wake up. Don't start having like half dreamy conversations with them because it's just gonna like mess your head up. Okay, number 9 is really quite different. It's basically a perspective change. I don't know whether this will work for everyone, but for me personally, it is just so liberating. If you are feeling like all of your worries are kind of piling on top of each other and you just feel so pressured and life is just kind of getting on top of you, lie down and think of outer space. Think of all the planets that are out there that are bigger than ours. Think of the universe and how infinite the universe is. And then think about how small the Earth is in comparison. And when you think of how small the Earth is, think about how small your country is. And then think about your town. And then think about you. And understand that you are like a grain of sand on a beach. While your existence does matter and you are unique within yourself, you cannot deny the fact that you are so small, but you're part of a bigger thing. All those worries that you have about your future, all the worries about the past, all the embarrassing things that you've said, and the things that you worry about with work, family, friends, drama, what you look like, what you sound like, who you are. All of these things are so small. And what I'm looking to do with this perspective is not to diminish your importance, is to show you that no matter how huge your problem is to you, it is like a speck in the ocean. When all your mind is consumed with worry, the best thing to do is to hit the reset button. And that reset button is pressed when you change your perspective. Once you do this, it will eliminate the negative thoughts, and then you will start to see the positives, and you can start to rebuild yourself. No one else decides for you what your purpose is. That is unique to you. It is up to you to find meaning in life, and you always need things to be balanced. Number 10, the final one, and the most important. Put your mental health first. Put it before anything else. If you work a job where your boss doesn't care if you're on death's door, you're coming in, and everyone's going to be disappointed in you because you've not come in, I'm speaking from experience here. Stop caring about their opinions. Stop caring about the what ifs. Take that day off for yourself, because you can't help anyone unless you are whole within yourself. If your cup is empty, you can't give anything to anyone else. You need to refill. If someone asks you to go to a party or tries to pressurize you into going somewhere that you don't want to, say no. If you're that person that's always giving and then never receiving, cut the support line off. Now, don't take that out of context. What I'm saying is that relationships and friendships should be balanced. And if your friends and family are always taking from you and they're never giving, if they're always talking about their problems and then as soon as you start talking about yourself or something that you're going through, they switch off, and watch out for those people. But if you want to know more about that subject, I'll link up here my video video titled How to Deal with Loneliness. But in conclusion, if you want to improve your mental health, you have to put yourself first. Love yourself, know yourself, and prioritize that in front of everything else. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that I gave you some new tips that you hadn't heard before, or in general just felt calmer from watching this video. I wore a crystal to try and calm my energy. Don't know whether it's that or me. If you like this video, make sure to drop a like, because that way it can get my video out to even more people that may be suffering the same issues. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Comment down below if this helped you at all, and also if you'd like me to do more videos like this. Love you, bye!